Okay, so I just checked out my last video and the music was way too loud. My bad, it should be fixed now. Anyway, uh, well, where do I even start? Well, after yesterday, I I've kind of been, as I said, reflecting a lot because, as I said, I have so much free time now. Maybe the most I'll ever have. I'm not really sure. But I think there's a lot to be grateful for as well that I never really speak about because, well, we humans tend to just speak more about the negatives because I think that's just how we're wired. I heard that somewhere before. And, well, I'm for one really grateful for the position I'm in, I guess. I mean, I clearly know kind of where I'm headed. I I already have a spot at like university and kind of a job lined up. It's a bit difficult to explain, but I mean, I don't have to worry about that. That's really nice. That also kind of means that my finals don't matter all that much. They still matter, don't get me wrong, but I have so much more like leeway throughout the exam period, and that feels really nice. Really, really nice. And well, honestly, I think I just kinda over the past few years as I've been in high school, I've been well, I've been kind of figuring out who I am as a person, and I'm really, really grateful for that. I feel like from what I often read, people only really figure out like who they are, what they want to do later in life. And I feel like for the most part, I've kind of figured out what kind of person I am and my passions, my interests, my hobbies. I just said the same thing 3 times over, damn. And I'm extremely grateful for that. And in hindsight, I guess every failed relationship and every moment that's part of the standard high school experience taught me a very valuable lesson. I'm really, really thankful for that. And I've kind of figured out that I one issue that I just have is that I figured out a lot of the times I would just be sitting with nothing really to do, no homework, no exams, no there's no problem to solve. And so, well, what I would do is I would essentially just develop some random brain fog and just feel really tired with nothing really to do because there's nothing to do apparently because there's something in me that just loves constantly solving problems, like finding a problem and then finding out the solution to it. And partially that's the reason I've been able to create so much in terms of like productivity, but at the same time, I don't really know how to rest. Rest is a big issue for me. I have some sleeping issues. The resolving, I've kind of gotten to fixing it, but it's really annoying. And whenever I do just chill on the couch or do something that doesn't feel or isn't productive in any capacity, I just feel like I'm wasting my time. I just feel like I could be doing so much more with my time because you only get so much time in life. You only get 10s, 20s, 30s, and well, my teens are ending, well, in 2 years, but that's just 2 years. And 2 years gets progressively less as a percentage point of your life. Like each year kind of loses its meaning slowly but surely in the grand scheme. Sure, each year feels great as long as you're in the present and living, but in retrospective, or retrospective? No, in retrospective, each year slowly and slowly kind of mashes together because at 51 years only. Oh man, I'm not good at math. 150. I can't figure out a percentage point, but it's just 1/50th of your life compared to now 1/18th. That means by the time I'm 50, 60, or by the time you are 1/50 or 60, each year has lost roughly like 2 to 3 times its value as it did in proportion to the rest of your life. Which, I mean, it makes sense that people say time speeds up as you get older, get more responsibilities, and fall more into a routine. Uh, and I'm very thankful that I've heard like all of this advice, because if I never read up on that stuff or heard it somewhere, I think I would be in a way different position than I am in terms of living in the present properly. It's made me very grateful for a lot of moments I wouldn't have been grateful for otherwise. And but part of that also comes along with the fact that because time's only so limited, it seems so long the moment, but after it passes, it seems so short. And I mean, time is relative, which is interesting to think about. I'm not sure if it relates, if it even makes sense what I'm saying here. But, well, I just don't want to waste the time that we get, because one day we all will die. We don't exactly know what happens after, uh, but that's not a topic on its own. But what we do know is that the time we have right here, right now is real. We can't know what happens in the future, and the past is already in the past. And so you have to make the most of the present. And I want to do that, but rest, chilling on the couch, just watching TV, those ordinary moments, it feels like I could be doing so much more, but at the same time, is it really wasted time it if you enjoyed it? Sure, gaming might not be fun, but if I enjoyed it, is it really wasted time? Is the point of life really to be productive all the time? Or is that just something I think because of cultural and genetic or some other reasons? It's interesting to think about. And, well, what I'm saying is that since nothing's guaranteed but the present, and we know that nothing really for sure 100% exists but this moment right now, I'm kind of afraid of doing the right thing with it. But I think that's part of the reason I do speak about it on this channel a lot, because if you verbalize things, it makes it feel more, it makes it easier to think about. I think that's it mostly, and also just somewhat to share as a sort of mini diary that honestly probably no one will see, uh, which is fine, but I think it's interesting to look back on in the future, which is also another reason I'm doing this. But back to the what I was saying. I'm very grateful as a positive that not just I have a spot basically, and that I I have income as a student, which is, I mean, sure, students don't earn a lot of money, but you know, money's still money, especially if you don't have expenses, right? Yeah, or barely any expenses, that is. And I'm extremely grateful for the friends I have in this current moment. It really feels like I've kind of met and know the right people like from the start of such an early age, which I'm sure I'm not deluding myself. Maybe I am. Only time will tell. But I truly feel like these are the type of friends you keep for life. The type of friends that you can speak about with anything. They feel very similar in terms of values and I guess personality, but then everyone has a personality in their unique way, which I really appreciate. It adds like so much depth, depth, yeah, however you pronounce it, to each conversation, to each moment, and it makes you think how a life must be like from that perspective, because you only truly know your own perspective because you just physically can't know other people's perspectives. You only live in your own mind, but you can only try your best to understand. But you will truly never know anyone 100% except yourself. But even you might not know yourself to 100%. It's kind of weird. Paradoxically, you should know yourself in and out, but not if you don't spend any time alone with yourself and don't stop just to reflect. And well, another thing that's really nice is hmm, actually this is, well, it's a new environment. I really like that. I spoke about how I just didn't fit into high school, and I really feel like this environmental shift will just do a lot to me, you know? There's no preconceived hierarchy, there's no pre-set. You can invent yourself to be a completely new person, not bound by the stupid decisions you made when you were like 12, 13 years old that everyone just knows you as. You can be whoever you truly want to be from the start, and you're actually somewhat, at least kind of, mature enough to decide now. 18, 19, I'm 18 as of now, is like I can actually just, if I want to theoretically just decide today, okay, I want to project outward that I am a shy person, even if I'm not necessarily shy. Or I can project myself to be whatever, just because I want to. And everything comes with its own consequences and upsides, which is crazy to think about. But you won't know until time comes, and you won't really know what would have been different because there's only one timeline that we live in. So if I was shy in one timeline, that leads to completely different things than in the other. Maybe for better, maybe for worse. I won't know. I won't ever know, for that matter. But that's what's really nice about it. A new environment and the novelty of university and work life is... I haven't thought too much about it, actually. I think I'll just let myself be surprised in the next few months. But that also aside, novelty kind of wears down as we get older, since there's just naturally there's less new experiences that you can do as you get older with 35 compared to 25, and routine just becomes more ingrained. But what's really crazy is that what's kind of sad is that most people, I feel like, just forget that you don't always have to live in a routine. You can just decide, I guess, to get outside of your routine. And I think it's so cool how free will just, you can just decide to do something just because you want to. No inherent reason other than, I want to. I want to. And so, I feel like you never, as long as you're content with the way you're living and happy with the decisions, I think you never truly die until you physically die, because this is saying that some people die at 25 but are buried at 75, which hits deep, man, because living so many decades in misery just because you don't live the life you truly wanted to live sounds absolutely miserable, like torment. That that's terrible, man. But you can do your best to not live like that. And as long as you're happy and you know you're doing your best and you just try your best every day, then I think you're doing just fine. I'm rambling at this point, but it's kind of interesting how these topics kind of align in some weird ways. Well, naturally, because well, I'm entering a new environment, of course. It's completely novel, and I'm thinking of many different things or something. I, I truly am rambling at this point, man. But um, college is college. From what I've heard and seen, seems to be, well, a very interesting time. Uh, I, w- I wonder how it will impact me like 4 years from now as a person. Only time will tell. Yeah, that's about it.